gonna be like a regular one of our phone calls. I'm just like, I'm just
Exactly.
here for the ride.
Right. We're on FaceTime and everybody just gets to be a part of our FaceTime.
But
Um
for everybody that's joining, like, put some questions in that chat though. If y'all have any
yes.
questions, now's the time to get us for free.
And we're okay, I'm a very like structured and organized girly. So I
Oh,
do
okay.
I
Well, you
do
have
want to just
some.
start it off. Like, I mean, it's weird though, right? Because this is your people. This is taste creators. So obviously they know you. Like
I
they
mean,
know what you do.
some of them. I'm not on my personal account though, so maybe they do, maybe they don't. So
Beautiful. Love that. Oh, who's
Hey,
TikTok content? Mine?
yeah. Which one?
Right.
It's got to be Jazz because like I don't really post shit on my TikTok, even though we should. So don't listen to me, artists.
Hush, hush.
Don't
Okay,
follow
so
me. No.
let's get into the backstory though. I want to know. So I already know your background. I know your journey in the music industry, but let me know your vision behind, finding taste creators. Like, how did taste creators come together? What made you do it? I'd love to just go down that rabbit hole.
Oh man, that's a rabbit
It's
hole.
a rabbit
It's
hole.
a rabbit
Okay.
hole.
Well, how long have you been when did Taste Creators start? How long
So
have you been
I
doing
actually have to give you a little background in order to, because it happens so organically, right?
it?
I grew
Mm-hmm.
up. For those of you who don't know, I grew up as a little girl. My pop played the keys and the drums. He was a singer songwriter. He knew a lot of like the old groups that came up in Philly, so like the Delphonics and all of them. Y'all probably too young for that, but basically, I grew up. Hey, what's up, Gil? I grew up surrounded by music and in studios and like he threw a keyboard on my lap when I was little, so my whole entire life like it was singing and dancing. Like my aunt owned a dance studio that my mom taught at, so it was kind of
Mm-hmm.
like, all right, I'm recording, I'm dancing after
Full artist
school.
boot camp life.
Yeah, nah, we used to have to like run around football fields singing and then like run to the middle of the field and work out and
All
then
that
go
work, what
to.
did it get me?
It was nuts. And then we'd go to we had like a setup in the basement with like the mics and the amps and shit, and we would have to run through our live show like 50 fucking times. Like it was
Very Joe
definitely
Jackson.
like boot camp artist development that I just organically grew up in. Like I had no fucking
Right.
choice. And then like, but when I was like 17, and this is like, a little while ago. I'm 37 now. I just turned 37, so you know, um,
Wow.
yeah,
Congrats.
I'm getting old and shit. No, I'm really not. 30's the new 20. So for all y'all young bulls, 30 is the new 20,
Period.
baby. No.
Taylor Swift is 34, unmarried, no kids, out here. So
Hey, look. But like basically, long story short, I did that my whole life. We performed everywhere. This is before social media, right? So this is
right.
like grassroots. Like you gotta pull up on people, you gotta call people, you gotta send the mail. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
See,
That
shout out
real
to
shit.
Gil. He knows. But yeah, it was like we started getting presented. By the time I was like 17, I was about to graduate high school. Shout out to Girls High. We were getting presented with like horrible contracts at that point. So it was like managers were reaching out. Fucking, I think it was like Atlantic, right? Like a couple of labels. We were all underage though, so it was like our parents had to sign those contracts, right? And my mom was
Right.
like, no, it ain't happening. Like I'm not getting you caught up in that bullshit. But for
You're
me,
like,
I'm 17 at the time.
no.
I'm like, yeah, I'm like, what? I just like wasted my fucking life doing this shit. Like what?
Right.
So I kind of like I graduated high school. I got out the music. Period. I was just like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. Like broke my heart at that point, as cheesy as that sounds.
Mhm.
But my very early 20s, I was working in real estate at the time, and like my family and friends were still doing music, and I would go to their shows, and I'm like, all y'all gonna get screwed because you really don't know the business. So that
Yikesies.
really is what started my journey into like trying to figure out what I actually wanted to do in the
Hmm.
music. On the business side, I had no desire to be an artist anymore at that point. It was just like, let me learn the music business.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna I don't have to go into all the details, but it was very, very organic. It basically was like, okay, let me insert myself into the music business. Let me teach myself the business for a couple of years. Try to work with as many artists as I can that are around that I feel are talented. But I didn't have a title. I didn't know what I was gonna do. It was just kind of like I knew I wanted to protect artists at that point. That's what I wanted. I wanted to protect artists from the bullshit in the music business. So the biggest way to do that, is helping them understand the business, right? And like, just showing them how to set up the infrastructure. So Taste Creators came about some years after that, but it started off as a music blog because that was like
Oh,
during the blog era. Oh, you didn't even know that. Yeah. So I
right,
started Taste
right.
Creators as a music blog because I was tired of like,
Oh shit,
during the blog
was pigeons
era.
and planes. Okay.
Yeah. So no, it was really just a way for me to promote. I would find like all this really dope indie music and I would find this really awesome music that was going under the radar because a lot of the big blogs didn't want to promote the indie music. So I was like, well, fuck it, I'm gonna do it myself. So I started Taste Creators, and that's really all it was for like 2 years. It was just like, let me post a weekly playlist, and I started writing articles on there and shit like that. But it kind of, I'm definitely leaving a lot of shit out, y'all.
Right.
But overall, to answer your
TLDR.
question, this happened. It's happened organically because I grew up in artists like as an artist and wanting just crazy development, and then as an adult I'm just like, hey, I want to protect artists. And now I'm here. So
Right. Yeah.
but if y'all want the
Heavy
full
on the
story,
protect artists.
what'd you say?
Heavy on the protect artists.
Yes.
Because I think that's where my heart is. But I think like I'm very direct and artists are really sensitive. So I have to like put my customer service voice on. I really do. And like I always apologize and I'm always like, oh, was that too harsh? It's like, girl, they're not gonna tell you if that was too harsh. They're just gonna stop fucking with you. Like, just be nice. Like
Yeah.
I'm definitely
Yeah.
learning that lesson because it's for me, I always just led with like my work. And I'm like, well, if I get the work done,
For
who
sure.
cares? But if you make people feel bad,
They're
also
like, fuck you. Sorry, I got a potty mouth. Maybe it's that Philly shit. I don't know, but
I have a potty mouth too. And literally, like, I was on Steady P's live, and like, people were like, oh, she is explicit. And I'm like, look, I have a 3-year-old. When I
we're
talk to the
passionate,
kid,
okay?
I
We
censor
are
myself.
passionate.
Very much that.
But good.
Very much that.
So yeah, I'm super sensitive about my music. Y'all all sensitive. I mean, but it's true.
I
I'm
don't even
sensitive
be talking
about
about
Taste
your
Creators.
music.
Like,
I just be talking about the business. I be telling y'all like the business stuff to do. And I'm like, you don't need a manager. You don't need a label. And you guys are like, ah, fuck you. You're only about virality. I'm like, God damn, here I am trying to empower music artists to do this shit on their own. Because that's the thing is like I'm in the music industry. I'm not of the music industry, but I'm in it. I know what happens in these labels and in these meetings. Like you know what I'm
and
saying? So,
actually, I'm gonna
like,
introduce you too. So just for everybody that's here, because these look like my peoples. What's up, Ty? What's up, Gene? Um, like Jazz, I don't know when we met. It was probably last year sometime or whatever. But Jazz
mhm,
used to even run socials for like Doja Cat and
mhm.
shit. So basically pay attention because Jazz, just like myself, like Jazz really knows her shit, and this is my girl right here. So I don't go live. So
I made her do this, so you guys are welcome.
all right, wait, Frenchie Rose, why don't artists need management? All right, so real quick, and Jazz, I know you have your own stuff prepared,
No, we can do the
but
damn thing. Like this is the thing. We can run this
you can
however we
run it
want to, and I
up.
like.
You can run it
Yeah,
up.
let's run it up.
Um,
Let's have fun.
Y'all the lock and key. That's hilarious.
Hey.
No, we not though because we spilling all the beans. We not holding it under lock
We're
and
really
key.
not gatekeepers. We're
Um,
actually the fucking crowbar and the fucking like screwdriver unlocking the gate for you guys
they
so that you guys can know all of the tea.
But wait, hold up.
Thank
So
you,
why don't artists
Arthur.
need management? Yeah, artists. So we're not saying that artists don't need management. Artists do need management usually, right?
Yeah.
But like not from the very beginning, basically, right? Like don't find people like there's so many artists that are like, Breezy, can you manage me? And I'm like, bro, like we didn't even meet. Like, don't ask nobody that you never met to manage you
Right.
because like you have
The
to
relate.
understand what you're asking. Like me and the artists that I manage, we're tight. Like we're family. You know what I mean? Like it's that deep. Like we call each other, like my artists call me about their fucking personal problems. You know what I'm saying? Like it's really a relationship. And sometimes it's like way too soon, and it really just needs to be an organic thing. Also, you have to look at it like, technically a manager is supposed to make a back end percentage, right? So it's like hard to bring people on your team if you can't afford to pay them, you know? And if so, 20% of zero is zero. So,
Right.
while I do think it's cool when artists find managers, like there's a couple artist clients that I have that I don't make any money off of just yet, but I see the vision. And we take it slow, but like, we see the vision. Um, but like really, that's what it is. It's like we're not saying that artists don't need managers. I think you
You
do,
just
but a
them the way.
manager can also be a damager, right? Like you don't want the wrong person to be a manager either. And overall, it's just not something that I feel should be rushed into,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I hope that answers your question. If you have more questions, by all means, let us know.
Yeah.
Wait,
Just for
hold on.
me
I'm
to
on my way to pick up my artist now. Look, see, you get it. You get it.
But to piggyback off of what Breezy was saying, when we say that you don't need artist management, we mean you don't need artist management to be a music artist or to
Yes.
start your career. Like
Yes.
you can do this shit on your own. And you honestly don't need management until you get to like a certain point. So, yeah, like Tony said, artists definitely are attached to a fantasy that's been sold to us that someone will see the vision and change our lives
Yeah,
overnight. Oh
not
my
true.
gosh.
Not true. That's so
Yes.
dope. I'm glad
That
we're
is
bringing this
exactly
up.
it.
It is never one person, because I've heard that a lot too. Like, I just need to find that one person. That one person needs to hear
Right.
my music, and it's like, nah,
And they
bro.
will open all the
It's
doors,
it's
unlock all the gates,
it'll
make it.
unlock a few of them, you know what I'm saying? If the head of a label, you know what I'm saying, like they love you, then yeah, they might let you into a couple different rooms. But if you have no traction, like it's still not going to do anything for you. You know what I'm saying? But maybe build you a couple more relationships. But there's no magic button. There is no like I can get this manager and I'm a pop. Like that's just there's too many factors that go into it, and it's the wrong way to think about it too, because number one, you really don't want to leave your career in the hands of like your entire career in the hands of somebody, right? Like what we do at Taste Creators is help artists build leverage. So what that means is like, and same thing with jazz, like we help artists build leverage. What that means is like we help you set up the foundation so that way you actually have a firm foundation to stand on, and you're not just like, hey, everybody do this for me, right? It's really got to be like you have a business that's built, and then your deals will be better. Just everything will be better. It's like look at leverage like your credit score. It's like the higher your score, then the better your car note is going to be. You know what I mean? Like same thing. So the more you could do on your own, the better. So I wouldn't rely on one person to make your career take off. It's just not realistic.
Yeah. Or even like story time. So I used to be a part of Doja Cat's management team. I was her project manager from the manager side. So when we first came onto the team, Doja already had her management. She had Lydia Osrot, who is now Normani's manager and just helped Coco Jones. Um,
Hey.
and we had Yeti Beats, who was her executive producer, who found her, like plucked her out of obscurity. And then we also had Josh Kaplan, who originally was just her lawyer. And then they needed someone before, me and Gordon came on, me, Gordon, and Sal came on. They needed someone to kind of help facilitate the business. So when me and Gordon and Sal came on, we added to what they already had going on, but it's not about like, oh, if I just find the right manager. Like, no, like everything that happened with Doja was it's not just one person. It was a team of us and a team of us all bringing different things to her. And she also did a bunch of shit on her own. She used to be on live streams for hours creating
Mm-hmm.
songs that she had a cult following that if everybody even so when she blew up, that's how you can sell tours. That's how you can sell merch. That's how you can have people fuck with you and make TikToks and all of that because you have this cult following. Such a cult following that when we released Planet Her, she had to put some of those songs that she used to create back on her live streams on the album. So it's kind of like it might from the some people might look at that as like, oh, Doja signed to Salenco and went up. No,
Yes.
Gordon found Doja Cat. Gordon brought Doja Cat to Maverick. We were absorbed by Salenco. Me and Gordon worked hand in hand on Doja to help like facilitate the business things. Like it's a lot of stuff. So it might
Really
seem
takes the
like,
team.
oh,
And
just
my God, radio, teamwork makes the dream work. It sure does.
yeah,
It sure
definitely.
does. It's not one person.
Absolutely. But Bree, so I want to know, like, what do you think are kind of like challenges that artists face in today's music landscape? Because the music industry is always changing.
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of expectations of artists, right? It's like,
Hmm.
hey, you have to you're not just the person that makes the music, right? Like you have to everybody's like you need to be consistent and you need to create content and all this stuff, right? So I think that artists are kind of pushed in many different directions and they hear a lot of information, different information from people like us, from, influencers, from everybody,
Right.
right? So I think their brain kind of gets cluttered and they're like it turns into like almost resentment to the knowledge, right? To the information. It's like if you're telling me to create content, I'm gonna scroll past this shit. Um I think the challenge for today's artists is to figure out it's hard to figure out what works for
Yeah.
them because there's not just one way to do this shit. There's
Right.
a million ways to do this shit.
Yeah.
And figuring that out is a task. It's definitely a challenge.
Yeah.
So but a lot of the time I think that artists maybe because they're so bombarded with all this shit, maybe just because like they're like shit, I make music, like I'm not a fucking marketer, I make
Yeah.
music, like the
Yeah.
fuck, you know what I mean? Now you're expecting me to market it. It's like, I understand them, I understand how that could be, not really what you want to do. You don't feel like it's your lane, but it's necessary, and I think a lot of this stuff it starts in their head. A lot of artists, as a creative, I'm like somewhere in the middle, right? I'm like half creative, half like businesswoman. So I understand both sides of it, right?
Yeah.
And like, but I deal with a lot of creatives, and it's like I see there in order to make music, you gotta be, it's a certain part of your brain that works, right? So it's like, what am I trying to say here? Like, I can see why it can be overwhelming to take someone that makes music and say, hey, you now have to create content and do all, learn all these different platforms and that's not even it. That's not even your whole job. So
Right.
I think they get overwhelmed. I think initially it's a lot of like, well, what the fuck do I even do? Because this person's telling me to do this and this person's telling me to do that. At the end of the day, I like to simplify absolutely everything, right? So don't listen to anybody. Make your music
Right.
first and then just start sharing yourself online, right? It's like, because there's a lot of artists, I've come across hella artists that are like, well, I just want it to be about the music. And it's like, well, me too. But you're not even posting your music. You
Right.
know what I mean? It's like, well, if you want it to be about the music and you're an amazing singer or whatever, rapper, like post your music then. Post
Yeah.
performance videos. Post, go find fucking TikToks of, of producers sharing their beats and go rap over them and duet them. Like,
Right.
it's, so I hope that answered your question. But
Yeah.
I think they get overwhelmed and they get pushed in a lot of different directions.
Right. I think that it's a lot. It's a lot, and I think my biggest thing is I don't think a lot of these music artists really have done the foundational work on like knowing themselves.
That's
Cause
really
I
where
work
it starts.
with music artists all the time and I'm like, well, who did you make this music for? Myself. Okay, great. Well, you're even a person. So if
Who
you
are
were
you?
marketing this to yourself, like what are some things that you like? What are some
Mhm.
things? Yeah. So Tony said social media can be so overwhelming to navigate, but it's a tool that can work for us for
Yes.
sure.
And it
Absolutely.
will. It does. I've watched it. Like, prime example, like Connor Price, right? If you guys aren't familiar with Connor Price, if you look him up, he's one of the biggest independent artists in the world right now. When I met Connor, he had 12,000 followers. Now, to some people, 12,000 followers is a lot. But that was like 2.5 years ago, and he's over 1 million now.
Ah, oh my gosh.
Like it was within a span of 6 months that like I looked on his page and I was like, wait, bro, like you just had 12,000 followers. Now you have like 140K. And he was like, this shit's crazy, right? And then literally a year went by and now he's one of the biggest independent artists in the world.
Wow.
So it's like and it's not like he had a marketing budget behind him, guys. Like that's what I need artists to understand. It's like the music was fucking dope and the content was dope. He married the two and they were consistent. And that like if the and that's why it's important to start with the product, because the product, if you I'm gonna keep it real, and this might sound mean, and I'm not trying to be mean, but if you're posting your song and nobody is reacting to it, the problem isn't the marketing, it's your song. So
Mm,
you should start there, right? Make the fucking best music that you can ever make. And I'm not saying like it's going to grow. There's songs that you're going to make now that you're probably going to hate in a couple of years, right? Like it's, but you
oh,
really need to start
it is.
with the music, because once, if the music is fucking amazing, like there's literally artists that I beg to drop their shit. So if
Mm,
you're not getting that reaction where people are like, yo, where is this? Can you send that to me, please? Then the music is probably the start of your problem, right?
he said it. The music sucks, not the marketing.
And don't get it twisted. Like on the other side of that, there's a lot of trash music that does have big marketing, so it gets out there, you know?
Yeah.
But overall, it's like I just need artists to understand that the only thing holding them back is themselves, because I've literally watched artists go from nothing to millions of followers with no big budget, like basic content and great music, like literally shit that was shot with their phones.
Of course.
So, yeah.
Our phone's shooting 4K. Okay, Usher just shot a whole music video on the
Yep.
iPhone
I was
15.
telling
I
an artist that
really
earlier.
don't
They were like, what?
like our phones are professional quality at this point. Okay, like
Mm-hmm.
we gotta get over the hurdles and the obstacles that we tell ourselves hold our back or hold us back, and find like solutions and ways around
Mm-hmm.
them, things that we
Yeah.
can do on our own.
Gio said literally his wife is his manager. Yes. Connor Price's wife is his manager. Like, and she's cool as shit. You know, I remember
Mhm.
talking to them when he literally had 12,000 followers. And
Yeah.
like, put your people to work. That's another thing. Like, if you have a girlfriend, boyfriend, bestie, put them motherfuckers to work. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, my girl was in
Camera.
here painting the studio. When we built this shit, like, she was painting the studio. You dig? Like, you have to, the people that are around you need to get with the fucking program, honestly. Like, and if they're not, then you kind of need to separate yourself and really fully focus, because the people who you keep around you should be helping your situation
Yeah.
and making your life a little easier.
Yeah. And it's really hard. Like, I am married to someone who has never been in the music industry or the entertainment industry at all, and he just doesn't get it, and it's hard. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's I don't know what I would prefer, because I've never dated someone. I've dated like rappers and stuff like that, but not someone who like worked in the industry. So I'm kind of like, I don't know if that would make the relationship better. But it is hard having someone who doesn't understand, and it's a lot better having someone who understands what you're going through and helps. And even if they don't have to understand the music industry 100%, but just being supportive and helpful in any way that they can,
Mm-hmm.
because they fuck with you and they
They
love you
believe
and
in
want to support.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because your significant other could definitely fuck your career up too. Because now you're in the studio and now they calling you, where you at? And it's like, I'm in the fucking studio. Like, can you leave me alone?
Yeah.
Or pull up. You know what I mean? Like,
Right. Or come
um,
over, because there's nothing to hide. Like, you can come over. Like,
exactly. Let me see. Gil said, how do you feel about performing at local shows with the same audience, the same artists, open mic type shows? So I think both of those are actually a little bit different, right? So if you're performing, I feel like any way that you can get a crowd, if you get a crowd, right? In the early stages of your career, you know, you might have to do some open mics. There's absolutely nothing wrong with open mics. I've been to beautiful open mics that have a packed ass room, and by the time, like, if an artist got up there and they were really dope and they won the entire room over. So,
Mhm.
I think open mics are good practice, right? Because you're not going to get booked right away for a show because you don't have an audience. So there's no reason for people to book you, right? So it's like, I think that open mics are fine. Um, hey, what's up, Corey? My guy. Yeah, I think open mics are okay. I think that just initially though, you know what I mean? Like, you got to build a demand first for that. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, and
Hey,
don't
hey, hold up, my girl.
I don't think
Keep
it's a
on
waste
John
of
Green.
time at all. I think that open mics can be a way for you to lock in your performance and to also, like, this is the thing. All of these venues, they will have shows. Not every artist performing has an opener. So this is a double whammy. This can answer Gene 215's question, and this can go back to Gilgad.
Y'all gonna see my big ass forehead for a second.
She needs glasses. The way she keep coming up here trying
I'm
to
like,
get
hold up.
we getting all the forehead shots. It's okay. We
Hey,
love it.
Keith.
Um,
First, wait, hold up. Congrats, my girl. So, John with the Green, I've worked with her for a really long time. That's like my sis now.
mhm.
And she just signed a nice little deal. I don't know. But Big
Hey.
Keith. Yep. Congrats. Love you. Call me. I'm going to call you after this. Need the details.
Okay. But going back to that question, so how should musicians who want to be used for live performances for artists market themselves or break through? So going to open mics is a great way to market yourself. It's and like I was going to say, go look at venues that are in your location. Look at upcoming performances that they have with artists who are in your genre. And if they don't have any openers, then reach out to the venue and you can offer yourself as an opener. But what are you going to have to show them that you can draw a crowd? What are you going to have to show them your performance history? All of that. So, doing covers and things like that is just showing, your ability to do that. Doing open mics is showing your ability to perform. And like Aaron Beard was saying, we all know a friend with a camera. Okay, have them in the audience or even on your iPhone, just recording that, so that when you are pitching and reaching out to venues or to other people to start doing performances and to get your live show up, you have something to send. You know what I'm saying? Like, here, here's this folder of some live performances that I've had. Here's, X, Y, and Z. And you can pull up in their email. Don't DM them, email them professionally, you know?
Yep. I also think, to piggyback off that, I think another great way for artists to start getting booked is to book their own venue. So, like, team up with like 3 to 5 other artists that are in your area, and literally pay. Like, all a show is a promoter finding a venue, paying for the venue, making a flyer, and putting on an event. So it's like, it's not like this big magic thing that you can't do yourself. You and a couple friends, artist friends, come together, especially if you got a couple people that are your friends that you feel are like business savvy or whatever. They know how to put together a dope email. Like, use that, right? Find a local venue in your area, and it doesn't even have to hold a lot of people. It can hold 75 people, especially if it's the first one. It could be a really small venue because you do want to pack it out so the footage looks great. But like, pay for the venue, rent it for 3, 4 hours, make a flyer, have, all the artists that you have on it. Don't charge artists to fucking perform. Do not do that. But get your people together, promote the show, and throw your own event. What up, Jazz? What up, Seti? Yeah, throw your own event. And not only, number one, you'll see what that's even like. So you'll see what it entails,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll get better and better at it. But also because now you can get that really amazing footage. So you got to do it up. Like, you got to get a photographer to come out. You got to get a videographer to come out.
If you're
I,
going to do it, do it.
just so you can get some really amazing footage that you can kind of use over and over again for future shows. But I think that you should do it yourself. I think you should go to open mics. That's cool. But I also think that you should, like, if you have never thrown an event, then don't ask to get booked for one. Go throw one, go throw 5, go throw 10, and then you'll have enough of an audience to actually go get booked for a show.
And that's the thing is you can do this at all angles. Like
Hmm.
people have performing history everywhere. Like even if you're in church and you are, leading praise and worship every Sunday, that's a lot
I
of
don't think the
performance experience.
artist in here is
You don't think anybody in here doing that? I'm
I was
just
like,
saying,
I'm
like
going to church.
that's performance experience. Okay, that is
What up,
performance
Venus? Who joined? Hey,
experience.
I owe Venus an email. I am so fucking sorry. I will hit you up after this.
Yeah. Everybody take notes of all the calls and emails Breezy saying she about to do
Dog,
over the
it's
after the
fucking. I have been so busy lately. Like I'm getting my shit together, y'all. I promise. I promise. I'm getting my shit together.
It's a lot. It's a lot. It's
It
honestly a lot.
is.
And it's very hard when you're first starting out because you don't have money to pay people or pay for the help that you want to. So it's a lot of hats to juggle and it's a lot of things that you have to do yourself. But we're not here to talk
Hmm.
about music entrepreneurship. We are here to talk about artist development.
What up,
So
Jazz?
um
The other, the other Jazz.
so I mean
I got my guy Wave. You knitting? What are you? Wave in here knitting on camera, y'all. You
oh
ain't on
my
camera.
gosh. Love it. I mean,
Don't make me turn the camera
look,
around.
I
Knitting at
made
the
this.
Taste Creator
Okay, she
Studio.
crochets. We do it. I made this thick ass beanie just to live on the West Coast. I don't even need it.
Wow.
It's just to look cute. But okay, so I feel like something people always talk about industry gatekeeping. What do you think is something that is like gate kept that we can open the gate
The
for?
gatekeeper is in your mind. Ain't nobody gatekeeping my shit. You get what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like, and that's the confidence that I need y'all to have. Like, there's no gatekeeping dope shit. You get what I'm saying? It's just not. so,
Yeah.
so you might have a hard time here and there, but I feel like a lot of the time the gatekeeper is in your mind. Like nobody's holding you back. Because if you try to gatekeep something for me, I'm just gonna go around you and above you. You get what I'm saying? Like, there's no fucking way that you're gonna gatekeep me. So I feel like that's how artists need to carry it too. Like, I don't think there's real. Now there might be gatekeepers in certain situations, right?
Of course.
This person might not like you, so they're not gonna add you to their playlist. You know what I'm
There's
saying?
gatekeeping,
Whatever.
or like Corey said, there's a difference between gatekeeping and politics because that's the thing. There's a lot of politics in the music industry
A lot of the
that
shit that we see, artists don't realize all the shit that goes on behind it, right? Even with the on the radar stuff that we did here in Philly, like there were so many artists that were like upset about it, and it's like, bro, I don't know what you think this is, but I actually had to explain to some artists like actually how this works behind the scenes. Like, it's definitely is politics to a lot of this shit, but I wouldn't look at it like anybody's gonna gatekeep you because you can't gatekeep dope, right? Like if you are out here and you're building a demand for yourself, then ain't nobody gonna gatekeep that. Actually, the people who were once trying to gatekeep you are then gonna be on your dick.
mm, I think any gatekeeping that happened, it was because people associated the knowledge that they have and their identity like that gave them value, like them having that information, knowing that information, so that's why they wouldn't share it. But I'm gonna let y'all know I've been behind the gate. Everyone is experimenting. Nobody knows what they're fucking doing. Okay? That's the biggest secret
And
that I
times
can
are
ever
everything is
tell
always
you.
changing. Think about it. Like technology is changing. Always a new fucking platform. Last a couple years ago it was the blog era. Now it's not the blog era. Like you know what I'm saying? Like it's always gonna be new shit to learn.
Yeah.
Nobody is
Social media
here to
manager
get
was
you.
a joke job when it first came around. People were like, social media manager. Oh, okay. Now look. Now look. Okay. Now look. Okay. But people who didn't give a fuck and were like, I love social media and became a social media manager in 2012 are probably millionaires now and who have their own businesses and things like that. So never, you can't care about what people are saying or what people are doing. And I feel like the politics of this industry, as long as you always show up, you have good morals, you stand on business and stand on your word, you don't ghost people, you just like stay true to your commitments, like be a
I
good
think
human
that's the
being
most
first.
important thing. I think that's all those things that you just mentioned, like the basic, just what we feel is like common sense, but it's not. But
Common
like
courtesy,
you'd be surprised
like just
that
being
if
courteous.
yeah, being courteous, being nice, like being a pleasure to work with will get you further than being an asshole. Period. Like knowing how to communicate, reading emails, responding in a timely manner, reading text, responding in a timely manner, like all of those things will get you a lot further than you think. And it's crazy that we even have to say that, but it's as simple as that. People just want to work with people that are a pleasure to work with. And like I do feel like artists need to work on communication. There's a lot of artists that I deal with, and some of them are great, but it's like maybe 10% of them are great with communication.
Mm,
The other 90%, not very good with communication. So I want y'all to work on that because it's very, very important. And it's like the people that are higher up, like I could hit, I don't know, Z. No, I could hit somebody that's like a founder, like owner of Audio Mac, whatever, and I bet you they'll text me back faster than an artist would.
right.
So you gotta be on point with the communication and just be a good person, and you'll get pretty far just by that.
Mm-hmm. Honestly. So I feel like artist development is such a need. And I feel like you're feeling that need. I'm feeling that need. But me and you do really different things. So how would you define artist development and how you're feeling that need for artists?
Good question. Artist development is a mixture of things, right? It's like it's a lot of different things, right? So just using taste creators as an example, we have everything from the vocal coaching and performance coaching, so like perfecting the actual product and the talent, you know what I'm saying? Because
Mhm.
especially if you want to go on tour, like that involves a lot of performance coaching because you have to build your breath control, you have to build your stamina, you know what I
Right.
mean? Like you can't just say, bet I got a tour and now I'm gonna just wing it. Like that's not how this works, baby.
Just
You gotta,
so on
so
stage, not moving, mic right here. Like,
yeah,
uh,
like and even that, like learning how to hold the mic. There's certain ways to hold the mic. You know what I mean? So you don't sound all fucking muffled like that. Like
right.
there's the getting artist development is getting the product right, meaning the music and the artist, right? It's polishing that. It's getting the brand right. So it's like once we have this product, how are we going to present it, right?
Hmm.
What's the story? What do the visuals look like? It's like with any product,
Yeah.
right? It doesn't go from the manufacturer to the shelf immediately, like in the
Right.
store. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's things that have to be done in order to make that happen. So everything from developing the product and the artist to to branding it to figuring out marketing. How is it going to be marketed?
Yeah.
Um, So the whole foundation basically.
Full from the rooter to the tutor. Okay.
Yes. Hey, what up, Kaz? What up, Forever? What up? Oh, I see y'all.
All the people. I'm scrolling back up to see if there's any questions that we missed.
I think my forehead been keeping track.
Did anybody ask questions in the
Because I
little?
can't see. Wait, that's why I'm leaning in.
Okay. What do you have for like what practical advice do you have for artists who are looking to like establish themselves and like thrive in the music industry? Where do they get started with establishing themselves?
Building their catalog
Hmm. Release the music, please.
or make it.
Or make
Right? Like
that. Very
I've
much
run
that.
into hella artists that
Are
like
you even can you claim you're an artist if you've never made and released a song? What are you?
each his own,
You're a
but
musician.
I mean like there's
Like,
artists that like they might have 3 songs, but
mhm.
3 songs ain't enough. So I think catalog is a big thing, right? Like having a nice catalog of music to choose from, so that way you're not scrambling either, right? Like you don't want to put
Right.
a damper on the creative process and like record one song and then release it and then fuck, I don't have any more music, so I got to go try to think of something and record it. No, you don't want to put that pressure on the creative process. So I think
Right.
catalog is one of the biggest things. And then branding, like
Oh,
how are you presenting this, right? What is your name? Everything from your the name that you choose to call yourself, right? Is like it's got to be. Are the at names available? Is the domain name available? You know, all you got to kind of look that up. You can't just be like, well, I'm gonna call myself this because that was my childhood nickname. It's like, well, look that nickname up. What else comes up? You know, because that's what you're in competition with. Prime example, I don't think she's on here, but shout out to Ben. Well, Daisy Darker is her new name, but she used to
oh,
go by Benz. You can't go by Benz.
yeah.
Mercedes Benz got that shit on lock. You know what I mean? So it's like you have to even think about, well, okay, now that I'm making this music, how am I? What is my artist name? What are my at names going to be? How am I presenting all of this? So that way I'm going to be easy to find,
Right.
right? So once you are on all those platforms that you need to be on and it looks uniform and cohesive, now you're ready to start just promoting yourself and your music. I wouldn't overthink it. You're a human at the end of the day, right? So like go back to using these platforms like you weren't an artist almost, right? It's kind of like you want to show the personality and you want to show the music, right? But I don't think you need to like go pay somebody thousands of dollars for a music video initially and all that. Like,
Right.
nah, like start with the foundation. Like, you don't need the big shit until you got the little shit down, right? So it's like you don't need a big publicist and all this stuff. You don't even post nothing.
Right.
Post. Like, get consistent there. See what traction you can get organically first before you go try to add all these big pieces to the puzzle. Like, because you'd be surprised that the traction that you can get at that ground level without all the, you know, the extra shit around you.
Yeah.
So I think that answered your question.
Yeah, no, I definitely, it's just like, how can artists who are looking to establish themselves? And just to recap what you said, it is start establishing yourself by defining your sound and like releasing music. Lock in on your branding. So, optimize all of your social media channels, do the research and all of that so that you know, like, how am I going to present this music to people? It's not even about marketing yet. It's like, how am I going to present it? How am I going to
Hmm.
release this? So figuring those kinds of things out, I think, are very fundamental to music artists establishing themselves. And you
Hmm.
don't need a manager to do any of that. You can do
Nope.
all of that on your own.
Yep.
Um,
Wait,
so,
forever. Do you think artists should relocate if they have buzz or are appreciated elsewhere? And what do you do if members on your team won't take social media seriously?
ooh,
All right, that's both great questions. So the first one, do you think artists should relocate if they have a buzz or are appreciated somewhere? I don't think that you have to move there. I think it would be good to go there and say what's up to y'all peoples. And I also think you should start running ads there, targeting there. So it's like, with the digital world, you're already everywhere. You don't have to move somewhere to be there. You can literally target your ads directly to anywhere you want them to go. So if you
right,
notice that you're getting a lot of traction in a town, certain specific town or country, whatever, then by all means, definitely start marketing yourself there. But if it's overseas and you're in the US and you feel like you have a great market in France, then you might need to like, you know, maybe learn some French a little bit. Maybe like, like you got to do something in their language, or maybe put your captions in French, right?
ooh,
Like
that's cool.
the people need to be able to, you know, actually join in with the
Okay.
fun. To answer the second question, what do you do if members on your team won't take social media seriously? Get rid of them. I
Get
mean,
a new team.
at this point, I'm
Hire
sorry,
me.
but at
Breezy.
this point, you can't get around social media. You just it's unless you if you want to be front facing, you can't get around social media. So whether it's like even you can hire Jazz to be your social media manager, but if you ain't delivering no content, then there ain't nothing. You know what I mean? But at this point, like just so y'all understand where I'm at, I fucking hate social media. That's why you don't see me. Okay, that's why you don't see. That's why Jazz. It takes for somebody like Jazz to be like, "Yo, come on, get on this live with me." Like, I don't really fuck with social media either, but you have to do it. There's no way around it. There's absolutely no way around it unless you're just like, I'm just gonna be a producer and I'm gonna go, be behind the scenes and go maybe the music licensing route or something. But if you are front facing, you kind of are, you're doing yourself a huge disservice if you don't get with the social media program.
Yeah.
And but you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't got to do TikTok dances and shit if that ain't you know what I mean? So I think a lot of artists are against social media because they feel like it has to be something, they have to be someone that they're not. And
Right.
you really don't, but most of the artists that say that are not even posting their music.
Period. They have analysis paralysis and they're not posting anything at all and then saying how much they hate promoting their music. And it's like I'm really on a mission to have artists advocate for their music. That is what promoting your music is. You are advocating for your art. And it is not about you doing weird cringy shit that
We
isn't you.
don't
It's
want
not.
that at all, actually. Please don't do any cringy shit that is not you because it's not
Yeah.
authentic.
And we
People are
feel
going to feel that it isn't.
it.
Yeah. So, no, you don't want to do
Exactly.
that.
And then we also are like, ick. How does that? Did you just see the fireworks? How did that
Yeah, I
happen?
was going to ask you. I don't know what that was, but
I'm like, how did
I
that?
thought
What
you
did
did
I
that
do?
shit.
I'm like, I don't know. That felt like an automation. But
I don't know what that was.
this isn't like TikTok live where people send you gifts and then things like that happen. So that's why I was like, what is this? Um, but
Cash App is taste creators, by the way.
accepting all monetary donations. No, I'm kidding.
If you are finding this helpful, you know.
This really, y'all
Never
really
saw
on
that.
FaceTime with us, honestly. Like,
No, you really are, because this is like me and Jazz's conversations like
yeah,
regularly.
we just be on the phone. And I mean, we work with an artist together and stuff, which is great. Honestly, something that I want to like really push home with you guys is even if you don't live in LA or Breezy lives in Philly and she has made her own shit in Philly. She didn't move anywhere. And she just mentioned to you guys she's on like texting basis with like Z, who's like the head of
Well,
Audio Mac, all of this. So
not
she
now. I haven't talked to Z in a minute, but like
well, I
that's
don't
a
even
bad
but
example.
it was
But
examples. And all I'm saying is that you have built your own music community from where you are and purely from networking. You know what I'm saying? And I think that a lot of music artists sleep on the power of networking and they think that they're defeated. I don't live in LA, I don't live in New York. Even people who live in Atlanta don't want to be in Atlanta. They want to be
oh
in
my,
LA. Like,
I hear it all the time. Like people in Philly be like, Philly's like so crabs in a barrel. And then you talk to somebody else from another city and they're like, this city sucks. And it's like, y'all all hate y'all own cities. Like, but my whole thing is if you move somewhere else, but you do the same shit that you're doing now, you
right.
still ain't gonna like you still ain't gonna do
It's
nothing. And
no
moving to a more, I would rather like artists gotta look at it this way. Like if you're in a spot that like doesn't have a huge population or a huge music market, then it's probably going to be easier for you to reach all those people, right? Like, then go into a big ass city and now it's more cluttered and now you got just millions of artists to go through,
yeah,
right? Like, I'd rather you be the shit in some little ass town and then expand.
right.
And plus, like I said,
Yeah,
with the internet, you everywhere,
right.
everywhere you want to be.
Like me doing these live streams and stuff, this is all about me building a community. I wanted to build a community, a music community online for myself because I missed being in the building. Because even when you work in the music industry and when you're in the building with a bunch of people who love music. You know what I'm saying? Like the people who are greedy and who are all about money, they're not in the building with us. They at home collecting their millions. we're in the building and we're the music lovers. And being able you can have that and you can create that from anywhere. And I think Breezy doing that with her company Taste Creators, partnering with On the Radar, that's a little bit more recent, partnering with On the Radar and doing different things like that shows you that is all about networking. That is all about building community, because community and industry, is completely different when we're talking about
A lot
music.
of
Your
people,
community, yeah, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I was going to piggyback off of what you said. Like, you know, a lot of people ask me even like, how did that on the radar stuff
Right.
happen? It happened because of two things. It happened because one, I built something,
Mm-hmm.
right? I built something. If we didn't
Naps.
have this, I wouldn't have been able to partner with on the radio,
Right.
on the radar, right? So build what you want to build. Don't wait for somebody to help you or ask you or whatever. Put your first foot forward and build what you want to build,
Mm-hmm.
right? Number one. Number two, I got a phone call from a DJ artist that I became cool with, that I work with, and she like, "Yo, Breeze, I got on the radar for you. They coming to Philly. You want it? Sure." Like it was literally that simple. So it's like I said, that's really how it happens. So build what you want to build and build those relationships at the same time, and the opportunities are going to present themselves at the time that they need to present themselves.
Yes, I really want Taste Creators to be like the number one go-to studio for content. If you guys are thinking about music, any of that kind of stuff, like going to the Taste Creators studio in Philly, like I don't know any other women-owned studios that are doing it out there or who provide all of that different stuff like Breezy does with Taste Creators. But yeah, Corey said, Philly is a little rougher, and that's why Breezy and Taste Creators is so important.
Oh, thanks, Corey. Yeah, I mean, it is a little rougher, but I think it's really because, like in Philly, we have so much talent that everybody is scared to work together because it's like, well, you're talented too, and I'm talented. You know what I mean? It's like
Hmm.
there's not. They feel like there's not enough room for everybody. When really, I'm like, nah, we can really take the fuck over
Yeah.
if we do band together a little bit more. But I don't think it's just Philly. I think that if you're in a city, you know, with a lot of people, there's always kind of gonna be that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, very much that. And never forget to and this is the thing. If you have things like merch or other things that you're going to be making money for, like you guys cannot be scared to market. You
Yeah.
can't be scared to market yourself, your merch, your music, any of that. Or how are you expecting to make money as a music artist if you don't advocate for yourself?
Hmm. But Corey said talent outnumbers the outlets, but I think it outnumbers the outlets in every city. I don't think there's any city that has more outlets than they do artists. There's millions of artists. So but I do feel him because like Philly doesn't have it on the radar, right? Like Philly doesn't have a platform that got that huge that you know what I mean? Like I think well hip hop since 1987 kinda, but it's still not it doesn't have that effect that on the radar does. But
Mhm.
who knows? You know, we Taste Creators got some shit coming for you.
Yeah, that's what he was saying. He said other cities actually have the
Yeah, that's
platform.
why I clarified because he is right. Like we really don't
Yeah,
have like a huge platform like that.
right. Or people just come into Philly to like, build that platform from scratch. But yeah, Taste Creators can become one for sure. I don't see
We've
why
been
not.
filming some stuff, so just you know.
Up to some things.
I'm still waiting on Corey to send me his list of artists. Actually,
Oh.
yep,
uh, well,
yep.
this
You right. You right.
this has been freaking fantastic. I love this. This has been really
Yeah,
fun.
just do this like by like
Yeah,
every month or some shit.
I am down. We can
Amen.
definitely do
Wave.
this. All the artists had to build their own plaids, and yeah, I would appreciate a sit down.
Or just a text with a list of artists, bro. Like that's really it. But you know, you're welcome to come to the still. Let me see. Wave said the internet is the platform. Just use it accordingly. Okay. So
Snaps. That's yes, very much that. Is Wave right next to you over here coming? What up? How are you?
I just finished this, by the way. I saw yours. I was like, I gotta finish.
Queen. Oh my gosh. Where have you been?
I just started this last week. This is my second hat.
Really?
Yeah.
See,
I
look,
love
you can't leave Wave alone too long. He
Mhm.
like builds shit and makes shit. At our last studio, I left for like a couple days. I came back. He built a cloud. There was a cloud. I was like, bro, a cloud? It lit up and everything. And we started using it for content.
Shit, if it's cold, you need a hat. I'll let your boy.
So music artists who are struggling to cut through the noise, what do you think they can do to cut through the noise?
The music, if that music is hitting,
You think
it'll cut through the noise. I think there's a lot of noise out there because I think there's a lot of music that ain't that great. You know, it's just okay.
Yeah.
Like, we all know that when we see something that is so fucking amazing or hear something that is so amazing, like, you know, that feeling that you get and you want to share it with everybody. And, you know, so I feel like the music is the start of that.
Yeah.
And like literally all the shit that we're saying, like there's not a blueprint, right? Hold up, who's that? Lights fly. Yeah, yo, Lights is my favorite artist in this. He might be my favorite artist in the city right now. So yeah, shout out to you.
He's working.
He's working his ass off. Working his ass off. But yeah, I think the music is where it starts. You know, what'd you say?
Join the chat. I said, Wave, pull up a chair.
Our next live gonna be with Wave.
I'm back here. I'm gonna slide over, but it's all about y'all.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, Wave's my right hand over here. It's just us in here right now. But yeah, I think the music has to be fire. I think more artists need to not listen to what people are telling them, like their close people. I think they should listen to how they're reacting to their music, right? Like, pay attention, right? Like, if you play your music for a bunch of people and you don't get that reaction of like, yo, is this out? Can I get this? I need this for a playlist. If they not trying to play it in their car, like, they might say, oh yeah, that's cool. It ain't that good though, because they don't have that reaction. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, I really think that the craft is the first thing, and it's not the only thing, but it's the first thing that they need, that can help them break through, right?
Yeah.
Second, other than that, is definitely your live performance. If you could put a bomb live show on and you can show that to people, then like, that's gonna help you. There's a lot of artists who make great music, but they can't perform for the life of them. They're just not at that point yet. So I think if you could put on a dope live show, that sets you apart. And definitely your content. The more creative you can get with your content, that it'll stand out. You know, we see it every day.
Yeah. That's really helped a lot of people break through the noise, is developing a new way of like delivering their music, like Fly on a Boss, them doing those running videos with their music and stuff. They found a way to really break through the noise, and their music, you know. Another thing too is like, I feel like they knew who they were, that like they had like the little elf ears going, like they're, you know, like they were just very locked in with like, I know who I am, I know who I'm making music for, and they're gonna catch up. They're gonna find me. Like, you know, like it'll definitely be a thing. And that's the thing, is that just build your own shit where you are, get your own shit rocking, and people will catch on. But you can't release 4 songs, not have 1 million streams, and quit.
Yeah. And you can't like necessarily have 4 songs and drop them one a year or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta be present. I think a lot of artists, like, they'll start picking up traction and it'll be like a week and then they disappear. And it's like, ugh.
Song is up.
Yeah.
Yeah, song, that's true. Like, let's touch on that, right? Because a lot of artists, they get so stressed before their song comes out or their project comes out, right? And they're like doing all this work to bring it to fruition.
Right.
And then when it's out, they're like, oh, okay, great. Woo, it's out. All right.
Like, you spent
like,
2 years.
Wait, bro, like now is when it starts.
Right.
What'd you say?
Like, how do you spend years creating a project that you only promote for like 2 weeks? What?
Yeah. And like,
what?
Yeah, you need like a whole portfolio, like a model. Yep, that's what we were saying earlier. You need a catalog.
Yeah.
Big deal. Because there's artists that come to me and they come to Taste Creators and they're like, yo, I really need your help. I really want to grow an audience. I really need you to help me market myself and all this stuff. And I'm like, bet, let me hear the catalog. How much music do you have? And they're like, I got about 4 records. Well, you don't need me right now. Unless it's to help you make some more records. You don't need me. You can use the studio. You can use our producers, but you don't need, there's nothing to market right now. You need to focus on your product, on your catalog.
Right.
So
Will said, do you think that's fell in the plan?
what's fell in the plan?
If you just I guess drop it and say that's it, you gotta explain that one.
Yeah, I mean,
Definitely.
you should, your plan should be not just leading up to the release. The plan should be, what am I doing after the release? If anything, the timeline before the release should be slim, and the timeline after the release with all the content, like if you got 20 pieces of content for your song, you might drop 2 in advance before it comes out.
Right.
The other 18 after it's out.
Right.
Like that's when the work begins.
Yes.
Because it's out.
Very.
People can actually hear it now.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with you doing teasers that have people questioning. Like, let's say there's a clip from your music video and you post it and it's going in reverse or something like that, and people are like, what the fuck is this? You know what I'm saying? Like, you can definitely do things prior to the release.
I recommend that, right? Like you can see, like for instance, a lot of artists shoot music videos for songs because, and I'm like, well, why did you choose to shoot a music video for that song? And they're like, well, I don't know, I liked it. And it's like, well, wait, you might have just spent $3,000 to $5,000 on something that the people don't even want right now, right? Like you could put out snippets of a bunch of different songs and see what organically people are gravitating towards, and then like use the people as like market research, right? It's like, let's see what organically, let me test out these 4 songs. Let me put them, not all release them all, but let me put snippets of them up and let me see what people are gravitating towards just organically. Then it's like, bet they really fucking with this one. I'm gonna drop that one and go crazy on the content. So like, especially if you don't have a big following yet or a big budget, like you really got to listen to the people so you're not wasting money either.
Yeah. People waste so much money on things that they like and things that don't actually matter or will get them the results that they want. A lot of people waste a lot of money on things to make themselves look cool, but it's not actually getting them the results that they want. I have worked with artists where like I came onto the team and I'm like, hey guys, the EP releases on Friday. Like, what's our marketing plan? And I've been sent like a list of influencers and like the budget showing all the money that they've spent, but like not a marketing plan. So I don't think people really know what a marketing plan is. But if you need one, I have one. I sell one.
I
Just as
also
an
did
example, it's very
rollout
generic.
toolkit.
You know what I'm saying? Like I got a whole little rollout toolkit for you. Because that I think that is the most like fucked up thing I've ever seen, is like going to music labels and going to people and expecting them to do their job and have a plan for us, and they don't have it, or asking for a plan over and over, and then when I finally get the plan, it's trash. But I'm just like, I'm very much like, what the fuck is this? Like, what did you just like? I'm not even kidding you guys. Someone has sent me a Google Doc and I checked on the version history, and all they did was update the artist's name to the current artist that I was working with. They did no rollout, like nothing. Like, oh. But I think it's because people don't even know what it is. They don't know what they should be doing.
I want artists to understand that, like, I just want them to get the basics down first, right? Like, it's not glamorous. Let me put it that way, right? It's not glamorous. It's just work. It doesn't sound glamorous. You know what I mean? Like, make music, create content, put the content out. Network, make music, create content, put it out. Network. That's, like, to keep it simple, that's the foundation of it all, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, don't be afraid to just do the fucking work. The work that's boring, the work that feels like work, it's gonna feel like work.
Right.
That's the thing that you need. A lot of the time I tell that to artists and they're like, but what else, Breezy? There's gotta be something else. I need a big publicist. I need, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's gotta be something else. I need a big budget. No, that is not it. You need that stuff to amplify what you're doing after you've built a little something already. That is not what's going to build it. You're going to build it. Your content is going to build it. Your music is going to build it. Your
Right.
personality is going to build it. That is what's going to grow the fan
Yeah.
base.
And like Exo Sour is saying on here, like people think they know what they're doing and they need to learn how to brand themselves. And me and Breezy spoke on this earlier because branding is definitely the first most fundamental foundation thing of being a music artist because you're the brand. So your brand identity is your artist identity, figuring out why you make music, discovering who you make music for so you know what kind of content to create to market and promote your music. Sorry, my son is going crazy. So if y'all can hear that, he mad that he can't.
Your baby? That's her
My
baby.
bad. But
Hold on,
but
but you don't have to drop 20 songs. But you do, but not at once.
he's not.
It's not at once. Like, I don't think that you should drop 20 songs tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, I think that, but if you have 20 songs that you want to drop this year, by all means, drop them. But don't drop them all at once, especially if you don't have a following yet.
Oh my gosh, can we please talk about four bats? Let's talk about it
Wait, your
because
prices on your site? No, my price. Are you talking to me or Jazz? My prices are not on my site because we don't have a company that you could just come to and buy whatever you feel like you need to buy. You got to talk to me first or somebody on the team first so we can see what you actually need and who you are and where you're at in your career, and then we can figure out something that works for you. But the prices for both Jazz and myself have digital products. So if you want a digital product like the rollout toolkit or whatever, you can click the link in my bio, Jazz's bio, whatever. But other than that, no, we don't have prices on the site.
yeah. Our services, honestly, guys, that's the thing is you, like Breezy was saying, you have to talk to me so that I can tailor make a plan that's going to help you. So I don't just have like prices for everything. I like customize and build my plans out for each client.
It literally looks
But
different for everybody. It's not. I mean, don't get it twisted. We have products, and you know what I mean. But like, you can't just go buy them on the website because it's like if we did that, like how you might be paying want to buy the wrong shit that you don't even need right now. So yeah, we got to talk to you first. But fill out the contact form. First link in the bio. I got you.
But yeah, for bats.
what do
Four
you?
bats. What
I
about them?
So I am Ro Will. What are you liking about Four Bats right now? For me, I love like bruh, I love how his videos are and how it's like this is not who I thought was making this song.
That's
Like
what got
what?
me. That's what got me. And that's a great example of like how do you break through the noise, right? It's like it's content, right? Like when I saw that video, I was like, oh, this seemed fire. And then he opened his mouth and I was like, wait, what the fuck? Like this is him? So that wow factor, that element of surprise, mixed with the fact that the song is actually really good. Come on.
Yep, very much that. And everybody's fucking with it. Fucking like North made a video to it. I just saw Monet McMichael's. Oh my gosh, Tierra Wax recent video is so fire with the claymation, y'all.
Fucking with Tierra, but Tierra been doing the dope shit. Like Tierra been on, like you know what I'm saying. She been on some next level shit since she came out a couple years ago with her project, Whack World. That was whoo. Like Tierra been on some next level shit. And I will say a lot of this. I mean, probably not now because she's been signed, but like initially, she was putting her own budgets behind a lot of this shit. Her to make the visuals. So yeah, but Tierra, oh man, Tierra ain't nobody touching her. Yeah, she been Missy vibes. Yep, for sure.
And we need that. We freaking need that.
Yeah,
we definitely
1 minute videos they were a tease. Them 1 minute videos. The one thing is, yeah, I do feel like Tierra probably should have dropped like a little bonus project or something with like 5 of them, like the full versions. Because I'm like, man, I was salty as shit. I'm like, I saw
Leave
it
you
on IG.
want more.
We still do. 4 years later, we
Yeah.
still do.
I'm like, yeah, you're right. I still would take the full version of that project.
It's the lifestyle, like the Brian shit.
You can still do it.
Dude, come on, see, come on,
Never
see.
too late. Come on, Johns. We know you from Philly. Talking about Johns. Them Johns.
Yeah, I mean, I am from Philly, born and raised, baby. We
Not
are in Philly
you.
right now.
It's so sour.
Oh.
I know you from
Oh
Philly.
yeah, no. I thought you was talking about. All right, the comments going crazy, right? Yep, them Jones
Right.
definitely bangers. Sorry, Jazz, we have our own language out here.
I'm from the Bay. You know we got our own language, so I love it.
Them Jones bangers.
Well, you guys, I have to jump. All right. Well, Breeze, hit me up. This was really fun, and I'm down.
Yeah, I'm like, damn, it's an hour and a half. Like, the fuck? That's crazy.
I know. I got a screaming baby in the other room, and the mommy and me gotta go.
It's
But this was a lot of fun, and I'm down.
Yeah, whenever you want to do this, I'm down.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Love it.
Appreciate you, Jazz. Appreciate y'all. Shout out to y'all. Thank you for everybody for joining. Hit us. Bye.
Bye.